Just think about, like, when you go to Minnesota, you think it like, oh, it's gonna be all snowy. You can make snow angels. Mm-hmm. Have fun never being able to do that again. Well, we emit a lot of carbon dioxide, which is not good for, well, the earth.
Yeah, it's really scary. And I hear like scientists say that like it's going to be irreversible if we don't like do anything about it in a certain amount of time. And that's like really scary because this is like our beautiful world.
When we talk about what's coming, what's ahead, it's challenging because no one knows 100%. Science is not a crystal ball. When we look ahead for Minnesota, we know with a pretty high degree of certainty that the temperature is going to keep going up. And right now we're seeing those temperature increases primarily in the times of the year and the times of the day in Minnesota, which used to be the coldest. So we're seeing increases in the winter, and we're seeing temperature increases in the low temperatures at night. As we look ahead, this losing the really cold weather, which a lot of people think, well, that's great. I hate really cold weather. Let's get rid of some of that. But it can change other things that we experience throughout the year. So, for example, some both native and non-native species of insects have certain thresholds in which, when the temperature dips below that threshold, they may experience a die-off. And so the natural climate of Minnesota helped to keep some of those insects in check. And so if you're having warmer winters and those insects aren't dying off, even if those are native species, you're throwing off the balance of what has previously existed in terms of forest and pest interactions, other kinds of interactions in the ecosystem.
Minnesota has a lot of variable weather. Sometimes it's wet, sometimes it's dry, other times it's hot, other times it's cold, cloudy, sunny. We have it all here. And that's another thing about farming. There's so many variables. We can't come up with a plan in the spring and say, this is what we're going to do all the way through. That's not how farming works.
I, for once, this summer thought, how is this farm going to be sustainable if the climate continues to be harsh to farming? Water is tied to climate change. Conserve water. We need water to grow vegetables. Now, if all the water evaporates here, it goes in the sky and disappears to another place, I don't know, then the water table here goes down. I get worried that I won't be able to grow vegetables even if I had a well, because farming is balancing nature. If I don't balance the soil, if I don't balance microorganisms in the soil, I won't get this pepper.
So we really have to be kind of stewards of the land in a sense, and also observers to see what we need to do to keep the land productive and here in the future to continue to feed our state and country and world.
Talking about like the native species, stuff like that, plants and animals that are going extinct, like the fact that our generation, if we decide to have children, won't have like the same climate that we grew up in. That's just such like a jarring realization, knowing that, oh, our kids aren't gonna like grow up with like the same animals.
I mean, look at bees. Bees are going extinct really fast. That's gonna be bad because a lot of our food does come from bees.
There are so many ways that any individual can get involved. Doesn't matter your age. High school is a great time to start getting involved. Absolutely. There are actions you can take as an individual, which add up by thinking through the food that you eat, where that's coming from, by thinking through the energy that you use and where that's coming from, by being active in political processes, being active in policymaking discussions, because people who work in government are civil servants. We're trying to do what the will of the state of Minnesota is. And you are the state of Minnesota. So we need to hear from you. And that's one of the biggest opportunities to influence policy and those bigger systems. And I know that sometimes they can feel insignificant compared to the scale of the problem, but it's when all of those individual choices add up that we really see an impact. I think this is a generalizable statement, is that we all need to kind of make sure that we are taking that next step, because if we give up, we are in trouble. But focusing only on the long game leaves you with this giant canyon to cross. And so if you just focus on taking that next best step, wherever that is, whatever magnitude of change that is, it can be something really small. But as long as we each keep taking that next right step, I think we'll be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, I'm only one person, so like how can I like make a difference if it's just like me? But if everybody was thinking like that, nothing would ever get done. So even if like maybe it's like a short like distance to like get somewhere, taking like a bike instead of like a car, or like carpooling with somebody else, and really just helping out our air.
I mean, of course I'm biased because I'm talking about my own generation, but I read something recently, and even talking to adults about it, our generation has been really, really good about speaking about social justice, climate change, racism, and it's because it's something that's so present in our day-to-day lives that we like can't ignore it as much as maybe previous generations have.
There's a lot of social science research that shows that the vast majority of Americans are very concerned about this issue, but very, very few of us have regular conversations with the people in our lives about climate change. You're already doing the work of listening and thinking and asking questions and being engaged in these conversations. And we just need you not to check out.
Yes, literally what she just ended with, we just need you not to check out. It's all about having those tough conversations, and it's all about taking what she said and you said, like those tiny next steps. Yes, it is so scary to think about that long canyon to cross, but it'll get smaller and smaller if you just like make your own individual choice to make a difference.